are ancient.
I'm a combat veteran. I can face the world. I am strong.
In the dream, I sit on a bridge, and RPGs are going off all around me, and the dirt and smoke and ash are so thick, I move through them like liquid.
There are other women on this path, not many, bearing arms tanned by desert sun.
Discipline nourishes me. Service becomes purpose.
I sacrifice, risk myself in service to others. Soldier, medic, NCO, military police. I volunteered for deployment to Iraq.
I've been shot at.
Bullets spin toward me. RPGs take off the back of a truck in front of me.
Our unit, 1 KIA and 3 serious injuries.
The voice you hear is real. I am real. Please, don't thank me for my service.
Germany, Korea, Iraq, Fort Leavenworth, Fort Lewis, Fort Bliss, Camp Bucca. I do not follow an easy path.
Rise at 4 a.m., quick dress, make your bunk for inspection. Run in the dark, sing the Air Force song. Shower, dress again, police your area, double time to class, more PT, double time to chow. Barracks chores after supper, lights out at 9.
Unless you have guard duty.
Tired all the time, either too cold or too hot. Hurry up, hurry, 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 and wait.
I had a lot of responsibility at a young age. I was 24, responsible for 300 lives and a 50-ton ship. My uncle told me, listen to your enlisted guys.
It's true, always, always respect your enlisted.
I would give them responsibility. It made them flourish. And I wasn't afraid to lean on the prior enlisted, the Mustangs. They joined up at 18 and spent their lives in. I sat for hours asking, tell me, teach me.
I was a good leader, respected and liked by my soldiers. When I made sergeant in Bosnia, the NCOs made 2 lines, and I marched down the middle. When I made lieutenant, my soldiers stood far apart in the inspection line, so I had to salute each one.
That's a lot of salutes. We landed in Islamabad and convoyed in Muzaffarabad. Men and boys squatted on the side of mountains. No women in sight. In the villages, if they did come out, they were covered head to toe.
I wasn't used to it.
It was surreal to be in a place without really being there, a landscape you memorized as a failsafe.
A guy next to me had the exact first name as my grandfather.
In 2004, we got hit a lot. We were low. We didn't have the high ground.
The city cracked, shuddering and collapsing on itself. Bodies were buried in mass graves. The tenements crumpled on top of the impoverished. A color palette smashed in pastel concrete bits.
A body.
I checked for lifeline, throat, wrist, lips blue, a body in death camouflage, someone's son.
These systems are ancient. The girls are patterned after what came before, already decided for them.
A blonde-haired, blue-eyed Christian. A black-haired, brown-eyed Muslim. Women of bedrock, women of the earth.
See yourself in me. Act slowly. Now there's time.
Life is a particle, a cell that begins a process. Now I can tell my stories.
Tell my name. Woman.
Soldier.
Warrior.
Sister.
Mother.
Protector.
Your heart can give out even if you make it home.
Civilians.
My stories are not your commodity. I do not trade them for your approval.
When I came back from Iraq, I felt extremely proud about what I'd managed to do for my country. I felt like I could conquer the world.
Now that I'm back, there's a few things I want civilians to know. I don't want to say, be gentle, but don't ask, how many people did you kill?
People actually do this.
In the world of and, I go to the grocery store with its cheesy music, and next to me is a mom with 2 small children the same ages as mine. And the legs of the smallest one sticking through the back of the cart are still chubby with baby fat, and we talk briefly. But honestly, how can she know anything about me?
I am one thing and I am something else.
Only another vet will ever be able to know.
Ever since I was a young girl, I wanted to fly aircraft off carriers. I had posters and planes all over my room, toy airplanes in pieces on every tabletop and desk.
I lived for years in uniform and full battle gear, weapons and ammunition, flight vest, Kevlar, helmet, LBE.
Load-bearing equipment.
And a second backpack to carry other necessities, including food and water.
In the world of and, I had to be as strong as any man, physically too.
We
live in the and. We have seen more than you can imagine.
The military has a term for it, resilience. You can't have been exposed so many times and not come away with a huge sense of pride and a huge sense of loss.
The extraordinary measures you take to save a mother's son.
They train you to use a knife and even your hands as weapons. They train you how to stop the bleeding wounds pronto. They train you to drive through checkpoints along roads with bombs and people who may be enemies or friends. They train you to outthink, outmaneuver the enemy.
Just the smell of death played a toll on us, everyone in our unit. From the first day, I had to accept this. I had to adjust.
I get impatient when civilians complain about small things. They break a nail, get stuck in a traffic jam. I'm thinking, really?
You say I don't look like a stereotypical vet.
So, I don't have short hair, don't wear combat boots. What am I supposed to look like?
For you, I have to dumb it down, recycle, repeat.
Because sometimes I wear makeup, sometimes a skirt.
Deborah Sampson dressed as a man to fight in the Revolutionary War.
Margaret Corbin entered battle as a nurse. She took her husband's place at the cannon when he fell.
Frances Clayton pretended to be a man to fight in the Civil War.
Brigadier General Margaret Brewer was the first woman to reach the rank of general officer in the U.S. Marine Corps.
Imagine these names replaced by rank.
Follow a path chosen. Reject a path prescribed.
I moved 17 times in 20 years.
We have a different perspective on the world. And many of us have 2 or 3 sets of divorce papers.
Society is a big deal. People have this opinion that vets should be men, not women. The idea that if women won over there, we're just nurses or pushed papers. I am a combat vet.
One particular day, as she ran her fingers across apples in the produce aisle, a man approached her.
My uniform seemed to make him uncomfortable.
With the apple's glossy skin still fresh in her mind, she thought,
What did I put on this morning?
She realized that the uniform, for him, was probably a metaphor.
War machine, puppet governments, hate crimes in foreign countries, torture.
How do I tell him that, in the end, it's always about life?
Life.
She catches the apple's juicy, early crisps on her front teeth.
It caught me off guard.
She was thinking about the juice dripping over and in and through her knuckles.
How young soldiers die, how we, their friends, remain, how we must learn to speak in code so that everyone around us is comfortable.
It's the trouble with being a soldier and a human being.
Are we at all similar when we close our eyes?
Instead, matter-of-factly, she tells this stranger, this civilian,
I'm a combat veteran.
Where is the bridge over the gulf between us?
It's a hard truth, but the truth. Witness.
Resilience, noun. 1, the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape, elasticity.
Number 2, the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness.
Where do
you
you
carry your strength?
Locked it.
Not being able to sleep, it changed my life.
When I first came home, I was happy to see my family. For whatever reason, I was fine with everyone but my parents. I was always so angry with them. No matter what they asked me, I'd say, "Really? Do you have to go over this again? I already told you."
You already locked the door.
Especially my mother. I'd be telling a story and use an acronym, and my mother would ask, "What does that mean?" I would say, "Are you kidding me? How many times have I told you? Just learn it."
I don't want to go out at night, especially even to relatively safe areas, especially parking lots. I see gunfire. I think I'm being attacked. It doesn't matter, no planes, no bullets. Everything's shaking, the metal grinding, bouncing, ground and sky.
Locked it 5 times already.
A place in my mind to hide fear. A place in my body to store courage. A place in the desert to bury my tears. A canyon wall to absorb my stories. Where am I?
I want friends who do not need to ask, what happened? I am angry at things that make no sense to be angry about, like tying my shoes.
There are moments that come back to me, filthy and tired, hair stuck to my ears. You know, if I hit that curb with my car, will something blow up?
Dust floating to rest on the breathless, the rubble.
Where do you go if you survive? Shoes so the glass does not cut your feet? Perhaps someone to share a laugh? Some company to refresh?
I thought I was a macho mouse. I could handle everything.
Now, almost 10 years later, if I drive up to a bridge, I have a hard time.
The here and there, the and could kill you, outside and inside.
I was gone for 18 months. When I got back to my little children, I wasn't used to people depending on me. I was ashamed to say I resented them sometimes, not being able to take care of themselves.
A lot of guilt right there.
I had to admit a lot of things I did not want to admit. Sometimes you need to admit you need help.
I did, and I didn't.
From that first day, I had to accept this. I had to adjust.
Sometimes life still goes on.
Sometimes you discard your honor.
Sometimes you forget your humanity.
Sometimes you just pack the goddamn Disney princess bag, pick up your kid, and walk out the door.
Over the gulf between there and here, over and over the bridge.
Locked it.
I do it again.
You
Bargain with what you have, lose bits of your soul, like coins or vegetable scraps, and do it again.
I was the first permanently assigned female on the ship, December 2001, the first woman to guide the F-14s in. The first 6 months, I worked 24 hours a day.
Go on.
Everyone was airborne, intense. We worked to airborne standards, marched 25 miles a week with a 35-pound rucksack, ran another 10 to 25 miles a week. We got the call that the war has started. We would be pushing up to Baghdad, Iraq. I carried an M249 machine gun and rounds. So did everyone else for 9 months.
I understand.
Great-grandfather, World War I. Grandfather, World War II and Korea. Father, Vietnam.
Rather than risk dying, we chose to drink nothing. At night, we stayed up and trained one another to fashion funnels, pee standing. It didn't matter that everyone was in the same room.
That's difficult.
It was scary, yeah, I admit it. I went nowhere without my NCO. The local men threatened even male soldiers, and anyway, they would not deal with women. We were isolated from other units. Weapons were restricted. because it was a humanitarian mission.
A serious hardship.
There were bridges and hills. We were constantly hit with mortars, rockets, small arms fire, IEDs going off all over the place. Nothing was built up, mud so deep. We had to build wood bases under our tents.
A blinding moment.
Who is a sniper on the roof? The youngest man? The oldest? The most afraid? The one who is dying? The one who targets you? You with the different kind of voice? You don't want to ruin this well-oiled machine.
Moment to moment.
At the VA in Providence, Rhode Island, a male nurse in his 50s or 60s took me into a treatment room off the big waiting area. I was there to refill my birth control pills. He said, "We don't support abortion here." He said, "We all know why you were discharged," implying I was some kind of psych case or a woman who just couldn't cut it.
How did it feel?
The almost living were flown away. The living and the dead were left to manage. In war, there are always the looters, the rapists, the ones who see the disadvantage as opportunity.
I witnessed the eyes without light, the dark prince, the anti-warrior, what is left of your city and your hope.
I chose to be in service to my country.
Breathe in this moment.
Sounds simple.
Follow my voice in the dark, like a homing device.
Sounds simple.
Breathe. Focus only on the next moment, next action.
My husband divorced me in 2014. Bravo, my service dog, embarrassed him. A public sign of my disability, the elephant in the room. He signals my vulnerability to predators. People stare at me, ask about Bravo. People's reactions remind me that I need him, like a cane or crutches. It can be hard knowing I do.
And
Bravo is 6 years old. He keeps me grounded. If something's not right, like I'm anxious, on the verge, he senses it. He tells me to stop what I'm thinking.
he gets in your lap. Anxiety goes down. If you fall, he will stand beside you and let you lean and rise until you're vertical again. I want to understand you.
I did not ask for easy. I never did.
We call the dead litter. What we mean is there are so many of them, but they do not blow away, and the vacancy in the eyes of those left is searching and lonely. The bodies are hauled away.
I know.
You have to hand it over. You bargain with what you have, lose bits of your soul like coins or vegetable scraps.
You offer up your humanity. How do we serve?
What kind of world is this?
Witness.
I told my enlisted guy, if you can't press the button, it's okay. And I meant it.
We are open, organized, we can plan and prepare. We're resilient.
I only wanted to work and sleep. Every day was Groundhog Day. I can press the button when it needs to happen.
What if life could be lived on the edge of challenge and expertise?
After 9/11, everything got tougher.
Desert, space, hot.
Pride in the shape of coins for missions well done.
What if your hands could do more than what they usually got up to?
The bedside manner of a flight nurse drowned by an engine.
I was an officer. I wanted to qualify for my wings.
We all have our battles to fight.
How do we serve?
I did my best to surrender to the moment.
Listen, you're fair game, even prime game.
After all, they're sure you're either a slut or a lesbo.
One night, one of us gets raped, and from then on, we are tasked with night watch. You had to be some kind of perfect.
Find a place to contain your fear.
I have an inability to walk across grass.
What happens when you want to go home?
Will you judge my choice?
I sat and let things fester for a long time.
How can you wish for more when so much is at stake? Gunshots, explosions, run for cover, like moving in mud, sludge, blood.
I crave mindfulness.
They tried to drain my resolve.
Now I tell families, please, talk to your sons and grandsons about not victimizing women.
Enough work, enough food, enough factory jobs, field work, enough repetition for 3 lifetimes.
I wanted to do something bigger, to see and know things beyond home, state lines, border.
Come here and stand inside my heart. The pulsing walls will shield you from what you do not understand. It's simple. I wanted to serve.
I was, I am, I always will be.
Life is better now.
Even if I know your heart can give out, even if you make it home.
I have a group of good friends. They force me to get out when they think I've been alone too much.
I visit the damn psychologist. On some level, I hate that she is actually helping me.
Military people don't want war either, but they plan, prepare, and do the necessary evils, suffer separation from family, risk injury, even kill, and get killed.
I want a home with a Christmas tree and a dog.
I'm an oldest daughter. I live by and for my family, maintain a connection from the last generation to this and the next, raise children, care for elders.
I was a soldier, an officer, a leader.
This voice that you hear is real. I'm real. I am grateful. It was my path. I would not change it.
Woman, soldier, warrior, sister, mother, protector. Life is a particle, a cell that begins a process.
I am a combat vet. I can face the world. I am strong.
I was, I am, I will always be. In my dreams, I walk confidently across miles of grass.
I
Open my mouth. I swallow the warrior princess.